Oh, there's one other. Hello and welcome to Internship Week. Today we have a session hosted by an expert at LinkedIn. His name is Ryan Zervakos, and I'll tell you a little bit about him in a moment. But first, I would like to launch a poll. Would like to see what your knowledge, how much you know. So just so you know, my name is Jan Potsman. I am the Assistant Director at the CSUN Career Center. And we've put on this week-long of sessions by different employers and some of our professional staff members doing sessions. And we're excited to have Ryan stepping in and asking questions about LinkedIn.
John, I think the options for the answer choice is incorrect. The first one is, what is your level of knowledge regarding LinkedIn? And the second one is it just says choice 2.
Okay, I'm gonna end the Yep, sorry folks. Must have been late in the hour when I did that last set of polls. So in the meantime, I'm going to introduce Ryan. So Ryan is a Southern California native and attended the University of Southern California with a Navy scholarship as part of the NROTC program. After graduating with a business degree, he was commissioned in the U.S. Navy's flight program. Ryan settled back in Southern California in 2009, working in the e-learning industry. LinkedIn came along almost 8 years ago and fit perfectly with his passion for learning, allowing him to live out the LinkedIn ethos: dream big, have fun, and get stuff done. Now working specifically with California colleges and universities, it is his mission to make sure every student knows how and why to use LinkedIn to create their professional brand. Welcome, Ryan Zervakos. Oh,
I better unmute myself here. Rookie mistake. Wow. Thank you so much for the introduction and the invite here. I'm really excited to talk to you all today. I want to make this about you all, so please feel free to raise your hands, answer questions, drop or ask questions, and drop it in the chat, whatever you feel is best. A little bit about me. I am a first-generation student myself. My mom is an immigrant from Colombia, and my dad didn't even graduate high school. And I remember how difficult it was back then when I was younger to get a job, and now it's even more difficult. So this is why I do these workshops. I love doing these workshops to talk to you all, really just to give you information. Like my role here is just to provide you with information so that you can make the best decision for yourself. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about 5 topics. We're going to cover 5 topics. The first thing we're going to cover is why you should be on LinkedIn. I think it's important to start there because I'm biased. I work for LinkedIn. Of course, I'm going to tell you to be on LinkedIn, duh, right? So what I want to do is I want to give you data. I want to give you information so you make the best decision for yourself. Second thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about we're going to talk about your profile. Most students are doing their profile the wrong way, and that's not your fault. It's just kind of the way everybody's been taught in the past, and things have changed a lot, especially for students. So I'm going to give you some information you may not have heard on how you should be creating your LinkedIn profile. The third thing we're going to talk about is growing your network. You all have heard that saying, it's not just what you know, it's who you know, or your network is your net worth. Well, that's never been more true than it is today. It is really, really important to have a network. So I'm going to show you how to do that. The fourth thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about content, posting content on LinkedIn. It's a really, really important thing that you can do, and it will help you get a job. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about LinkedIn Learning for a little bit, because as CSUN students, you have access to LinkedIn Learning for free. It's a really valuable resource. So I want to talk about that for just a second or two and how it can help you get a job. So let's start. First question I have for you, and again, shout it out or drop it in the chat. How do you think LinkedIn makes money? How do you all think LinkedIn earns revenue? Somebody shout it out or drop it in the chat. I need to have like Jeopardy music or something going on in the background. Misha, premium, really good guess, and advertisements. So Misha, those are the two most popular answers. Very good guesses, but they are not. Santiago, we don't sell user data. We do give access to users, access to you all, but it is not. You all are, David. I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly, but you are correct. Companies pay the recruiters. That is our biggest business line. So we do have ads. Ads is a big business line. Premium is a big business line as well, but it is our smallest business line. We only, by the way, I'm here to tell you, premium is expensive. You don't need it, especially because you have LinkedIn Learning. Half of the cost of premium is LinkedIn Learning, and you have that access now as students. So only 3% of our members pay for premium. Ads are a pretty big business line, but our largest business line is our recruiting business line. So we charge corporate America to find you. That's how we make money. We charge them, so they come to LinkedIn and they search for you and they reach out to you. So whenever you get hit up by a recruiter, that isn't free. They pay for it. So let's go a step further on why you should be on LinkedIn, right? What do you think our market share is of Fortune 500 companies? Meaning, let me rephrase that. Like, what percentage of Fortune 500 companies do you think pay to use LinkedIn products? Give a guess. What percentage of Fortune 500 companies pay LinkedIn to find you? Oh, Santiago, I love it. Misha, very good guesses. A little bit high though. It was 100% before COVID. It is now 97%. 97% of Fortune 500 companies pay us to find you. 90% of corporate recruiters use LinkedIn to find talent. In the state of California, which I'm based in Cali, been in Cali most of my life. In the state of California, over 90% of adult of 18 and over, they have LinkedIn profiles. So the rhetorical question I have for you is, what probability do you think there is when you're applying for a job in corporate America today that they're going to look at your LinkedIn profile before you ever get interviewed, right? The answer is basically 100%. And here's another reason why, right? The resume is a tool that's designed to really do one thing, in my opinion, and it is to weed out talent. It's to weed people out. They look at a resume really quickly. Do you have the right skills? Yes. If you don't, you're in that pile. If you do, you're in this pile. But a resume doesn't tell you the whole story. What is the most common first interview question? Does anybody know? What is the most common first interview question?
Is it tell me about yourself?
That is it. That is it. We've got a few like heavy hitters here with answering all the questions right and answering questions. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being engaging. Trust me, I appreciate you engaging with me. So thank you. But the answer is, tell me about yourself. That is the number one question. We know this. It's not, can you do the job? Like eventually they get to that, right? But it's like, I want to know who I'm working with. Would you like, you're in the same boat. Like you want to know who you're working with too. You don't want to work with a jerk. You don't want to work with a company that doesn't value you. Same back, right? None of that information is on a resume. That what we found out, we've interviewed a lot of hiring managers, and what we found out a little bit ago is that one of the most important things for hiring managers and people that are hiring is this idea of grit, of resiliency, because you can't teach that. You either have it or you don't, right? And so you can't talk about that on a resume either. So this is why LinkedIn is so powerful and why it is so important for you all to understand how to use LinkedIn, because not only is virtually every single recruiter using LinkedIn today, especially in corporate America, right? But LinkedIn, and this leads into what step 2, what we're going to talk about, which is profile. But LinkedIn gives you an opportunity to tell your story, so that you differentiate yourself from the next person. Because if you're just uploading your resume into LinkedIn, you're doing yourself a disservice, because a resume is a tool designed to weed you out. It's not an inclusive, like, look at me, look at what type of person I am. Here's my professional brand. Here's what I've been through in my life. Here's where I want to go in my life. Here's what I bring to the table when you hire me. Resumes don't do that, and they never will. LinkedIn does that. And that's why, and this, by the way, it's a two-way street. This is why LinkedIn is so powerful, and why so many people, so many recruiters use it, is because they get a better understanding of the type of person you are, not just are you qualified. So that's why you should be on LinkedIn. So let's shift focus and let's go into the profile. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go onto LinkedIn. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm just going to show you some profiles that are of folks that I think are a really good example on how you want to create your profile. So you should be looking at my screen now here. You are, great. So I'm going to start with just a few student examples. So let me show you Tammy here. First of all, really nice profile picture. You want it just to be a headshot, in my opinion. 70% of our traffic is on a mobile device. And if you put a ton of your body in this profile picture, it's hard to see. Your headline, in my opinion, should be a little bit more aspirational. Tammy is no longer a student. She graduated a few years ago, but I'll tell you her story in a second, right? Nice background photo. It needs to be like, just make it personal, y'all. Make it personal. This is about you. You get to show your creativity, okay? Now, let's look at her about section. She says, Harry Potter taught me English when I first immigrated to the Bay Area. She says, as a passionate learner, I jumped straight into teaching myself English and became obsessed with the way stories are told and how they connect people from all backgrounds. She goes on to say, I want to connect individuals to something bigger than themselves, the way Harry Potter colored my world with magic and taught me the basis I need to achieve the American dream. Now, before today, did you ever think that you would want to put Harry Potter on your LinkedIn profile? Probably not, right? Probably not. Nobody's ever really told you to do that, because this idea of professionalism and being professional means you can't be yourself. And we want to go away from that. I want you to be professional and be yourself. There is such a thing. This is one of the reasons why everybody loves working for tech companies, is because you can be yourself at a tech company. You don't have to wear a certain outfit, and you can be your true authentic self. And that more and more companies are doing that these days. And what I love about her profile here is that she embraces the fact that she's an immigrant. She's not ashamed of it. She embraces it. And here's the other thing, right? She wanted to, when I first met her, she wanted to work for a major motion picture studio. She wanted to work for a big entertainment studio doing digital marketing. And you all know, right? That is a very sought after job, and they can hire just about anybody they want. But when she said, when I was younger, movies changed my life, and I want to do that for other people, that's major. That's much heavier than I'm passionate about digital marketing. I'm passionate about the entertainment industry. Anybody can say that. The question is why? What is your why? And that's powerful, right? When you actually give people your why, it makes a huge impact. And I want you to know that Tammy did land that dream job. She now works at Disney on their content side. And when I met her, I had lunch with her about 7 months ago. And she told me that after she got the job, 2 people came up to her and mentioned how much they loved her LinkedIn profile. It's no coincidence. I'm not saying, LinkedIn helped facilitate her getting the job, but she did the job. She got the job on her own. All of the work that you all are doing, you all are laying the foundation for your successful careers. All LinkedIn does is gives you a voice. It gives you an opportunity to say, I'm not just my resume. I am much more than that. And that's what I love about LinkedIn. And that's why I love doing these workshops. And quite frankly, that's why I love doing workshops for Cal States. I work with a lot of Cal States because there's so many first-gen students. So many of you are underrepresented. So many of you are working your way through college. Well, that is something. That is something to talk about, Because if you don't tell people that, how the hell are they going to know? They're not. They're not. They're just going to see a resume. And they may not see you have all the right internships. Well, maybe it's because you have to work your way through college. You have to work your way as a server. That's okay. Talk about it. I'll show you what you can do, right? Let me show you a couple more. Sorry, I kind of get going there. Let me show you Bridget. All right. Bridget went to Cal State Long Beach, and let me show you her background photo. She says she has an iPad here. She has a quote here. It's time to look inward and start asking yourself the big question: who are you and what do you want? Now, a lot of people may get that right away, but that is a quote from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Just super cool, right? And it's a way for her to start showcasing her personality. This is what I love about LinkedIn is you get to be yourself. Here she has a headline. She says guiding individuals into the next step of their career. I love that. And then her about section, she talks about complacency and overcoming that complacency and walking us through that process, right? Remember what I said about grit and resiliency? Anybody can say I'm resilient. How did you do it? What did you do? Here's a line from Jack Nicklaus: complacency is a continuous struggle we all have to fight. And then again, she walks us through it. I was tired of being stuck in one spot. This is what I did. Not everyone takes advantage of opportunities. And then she goes on to say more. I love this about section. Here, she uses the featured section. The featured section is free. It's not part of premium. And this allows you to be creative with the profile. It allows you to upload, if you're a marketing student, it allows you to upload marketing projects, which, by the way, Tammy was a marketing student. And before she got the job, she had this featured section full of her marketing projects. Think about that, right? If you're a graphic designer or you're an artist or you're a writer, you can put this stuff on LinkedIn. You can link to posts. You can upload a video of yourself. You can upload your resume. All of that's free. And it makes your profile more three-dimensional. Here, I'm going to go down a little bit with Bridget because I want to tell you her story too, right? So when I met her, she was going to Cal State Long Beach studying healthcare administration. And she was a senior. And she was starting her senior year, and she realized, I don't really want to be in healthcare administration. I want to be a recruiter for a tech company. Like that was her main goal. It's all she wanted to do. And so instead of changing her major, which would have taken forever, right? You all know that, right? Changing your major when you're a senior, not a good idea. She kept her major, got her degree, and then she took all of these courses on LinkedIn Learning specifically to help her get the skills so she could get that job. Human Resources Foundation, Recruiting Foundation. She did 10 more of them. Again, you all have access to LinkedIn Learning. It's free. You can take those courses. You can find out what skills are required for this job I want to apply for. I'm gonna learn that skill and put it on my profile. You need a degree. That's what you're getting from CSUN. But you also need more tactical skills. That's what LinkedIn Learning can do. Now check this out. She studied HR fundamentals, and look at what job she got out of college. Google hired her as a recruiting coordinator. She was there for 1 year and 3 months, and now she's at Verkada, which is another tech company, as a permanent. Here she was a contractor. Here she's permanent. There's no question, right, that when you look at Bridget's profile, you know, A, she didn't just upload a resume. B, she is, she showcases her personality, which I love. And C, she goes above and beyond. She doesn't just do the bare minimum. And that's what you can do on LinkedIn. You showcase all of this to anybody who wants to see. Because even if you don't have a recruiting license, right? Even if they don't pay for a recruiter, once they see your resume, they're like, oh, I like this person. They can just look you up on LinkedIn. They'll look you up and see your profile. Let's go to Kayla. I want to introduce you to Kayla here. So Kayla, I love this. Investing in myself now to help create a better tomorrow. That's her headline. This background photo is phenomenal. This is a Canva template. I'm pretty sure it's free in Canva. And you can put this information in here. I really love this background photo. It's super, super solid. Great headline. Again, let's look at her about section. She talks about, she starts with a quote from Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And then she goes on to talk about how that affected her. She goes on to talk about herself. She's a Polynesian dancer for 8 years. She was a D1 tennis player, and she won some awards, stuff like that. Now I want to go down here and I want to show you her actual experience section. So this is what she did because she was, her other one is a server in here, but she's also a barista. And here's the deal. Everybody knows what a barista does. You don't have to really explain that, right? Everybody knows what your responsibilities are. But what they don't know is really what you got out of it. Like, what did you learn? And like, listen, I think everybody should be a server or a barista at one time or another in their life because you learned customer service, you learn dealing with difficult people, you learn time management, you learn patience, you learn, communication skills, all of this stuff. And so what you can do is you can write about it. Here's what I liked, why I liked working for Starbucks. Here's what I learned working for Starbucks in a paragraph sentence, in a paragraph form. You don't have to do bullet points anymore. And here's why. And I'm just going to tell you, here's why. Previously, this was up to 6 months ago, we changed this. When a recruiter was searching for someone with a specific skill, it would only search this section of the profile. 6 months ago, we opened that up, and now it searches every word of the profile, every single word. So the more content you put in a profile, the more likely you're going to get found by a recruiter, period, full stop. Okay. Here's the other thing. When you look at this, you immediately know anybody, more content equals more hits, 100%. Anybody looking at, and all the folks in career services, I'm sure back me up here. You can tell instantaneously when a person, when you look at a LinkedIn profile and they've just uploaded their resume, and that's it. I can tell in a second. Okay, he just uploaded his resume. So what does this tell you when you've spent time and effort on creating a brand, putting your background photo in, creating a headline that resonates with people, putting complete information in your about section about your story and where you're going, what you want to do, putting more information in your experience section. It immediately tells the hiring manager, the person, okay, this person isn't messing around. Yes, that you care. It shows them that you care. You don't have to say you're a hard worker. You show you're a hard worker. That's what you do. You see what I'm saying? What she talked about here is about her experience behind the bar and in front of the bar, and that she got to connect with customers. She was trained incredibly well, right? She won partner of the quarter. She's grateful for this experience, right? Those are the types of things. These are the type of character traits that hiring managers are looking for. You want people with gratitude and work ethic. That's what you want. She talks about that, right? Let me show you another one. This is Chelsea. So Chelsea is another student that I met a while ago. And I want to show you like how she crafted her experience section for an internship she did. Here she says, I interned at NBCU with hopes of gaining exposure into the entertainment industry. I wanted to work there because of its strong company culture, its focus on DE&I, its ERGs. She goes on to say she fell in love with the fast-paced environment. She was inspired there. During her internship experience, she learned about different things, right? Talks about some of her projects, all of this, and then she adds her skills. Again, I ask you, if you are a hiring manager, you're a person looking to hire a young person, are you going to look at Chelsea's profile and think that she's lazy? The answer is no. Unequivocally, she's not. Now, this was done before the invention of ChatGPT, y'all. ChatGPT's changed everything. In my opinion, if you're not a good writer like me, I'm a terrible writer, have ChatGPT help you. Be like, here's what I did at this job. Here's what I like doing at this job. Let's write something together that is compelling, that people can read, that will be compelling. Boom. Put it in LinkedIn. Use technology to your advantage. This is a no-brainer in my opinion. The more information you put in LinkedIn, the better. And nobody's going to look at this and be like, I don't like her because she put too much information in her profile. I've heard the dates do not matter much on resumes. Is it important to include? Okay. I will let career services folks talk about the resume because, to be honest with you, I'm not the best with resumes. I think on LinkedIn, you should have the dates that you work there. I think that is important. I'm pretty sure it is on resumes as well. But I think it's important to give chronological and give it time. You give the time that you were at those places, and it should match your resume. Yes, for sure. You definitely want to have your dates here as well as your resume, and they should match up. 100%. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about the profile? I've covered that plenty. I'm going to move on. Okay, no questions about the profile. All right. Now, third thing I want to talk about is growing your network. Networking is super, super important. So let's go to CSUN here. Let's see if it pulls up. Boom. All right. Should we sign up with our student email or personal one? Oh, Trini, that's a good question. I think you should sign up with your personal email. If you get, yeah, you should sign up with your personal email because, and if you want to have your student email, you can have two emails. So like my LinkedIn, I have my LinkedIn email, my business email, and my personal email in there for sure. Misha, I have a question. LinkedIn recommends you add your zip code, but previous recruiters told me to avoid putting your zip code to avoid discrimination. Okay, so I get it. We see when you're getting discriminated against on LinkedIn, and we're combating that. So what I mean by that is, so for example, Misha, we know how often you get caught in a search filter. We know how often, based on all of the data that we have over the years of having LinkedIn recruiters, right? We know that if, let's say, for example, you get caught in a search filter 20 times a month, that you should have somebody reach out to you maybe 5 times on average. What we've seen is that if you're a person of color, goes down. If your name is a little bit different, that goes down. If you're in a different zip code, that goes down. So what we've done on our LinkedIn recruiter tool is we've pushed you all to the top. We've anonymized people of color, and we've anonymized names if you have an uncommon name. If you're in a zip code, we actually bump. We're like, you should include these zip codes and things like that. So we're helping to deal with that. If you feel you don't want to do it, it's yours. It's your profile. So you do what you feel best. But we definitely are trying to push away from that. Should you put pictures of experience you've had before making the account? Yeah, for sure. I would definitely use all experience. Doesn't matter if it's before you made the account. So in our about, we need to put our experience. So in the about section, I think you want to talk more about your origin story, and your experience section should be your experience section. All right. In your about section, I want it to be your backstory. I want it to be, tell me about yourself. Who are you? Where do you want to go with your career? What makes you different than the next person, right? What are some experiences you've had that you think are important? What do you like to do outside of work and school? That's it. Yeah. Okay. Again, life isn't perfect and LinkedIn isn't perfect either. But if we live in an age now where if people want to know what you look like, they're going to know what you look like. It's just the bottom line. I mean, privacy, in my opinion, is a farce, right? It's so what I want and why I tell everybody you should have a profile picture is we are doing our best to eliminate or reduce discrimination, even unconscious bias. People, we all have biases, so we're doing our best to reduce that. B, I want to be able to put my picture out the way I want people to see me. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to curate my professional brand. I don't want them digging around to try and find out who I am and see some random picture on Facebook of me. So that's why I choose to put my profile picture out there. That's what I'm saying. Take it. Take control of what people think of you. It doesn't anonymize common names automatically, Santiago, but we actually have a new feature that anonymizes everybody. And so we're actually pushing that out. We're rolling that out now. So we're actually doing that, which anonymizes the name and it removes the profile picture. Because no matter what, people have affinity hiring. And so we're trying to reduce that. So we're working on it, y'all. We're working on it, y'all. I think you should, David, I think you should use your Armenian name, in my opinion. You be you, dude. Affinity hiring means hiring people we like just because we like the way they look, not necessarily because they're the best for the job. That's it. Yeah. And so we all have that bias, right? It's like, yeah, I want to hire this person because they're cool. Well, they may not be the right person for the job. Yeah. Liliana, I feel like my interests are very broad. How do you know to showcase, including too much to be overwhelming? Okay. This is a really good question. What I would do if I were you is I would really use your resources that you have at Career Services These professionals are excellent at what they do. I would also reach out to your friends and family, people that you know, maybe on LinkedIn, to kind of get their feedback on what you could share and what you shouldn't share. I mean, here's the thing, right? I would start with putting out a lot of those interests and then maybe paring them back if you think so. But remember, there's a lot of real estate on LinkedIn, a lot. You can put what you're interested in most and what you think you maybe you're best at in the about section. And then maybe in the featured section, you can talk about another interest you have, right? You can do a video about another interest you have. All of us have different interests. It's okay. It's not a bad thing to have a curiosity, and it's not a bad thing to have different interests. Yeah. Yep. Yes, LinkedIn empowers you to build your brand. Yep. Yep. Exactly. Genesis, 100%. And what I want, and I love the word you use, empowers. And again, look, I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm biased, but it does give you opportunity that we never had before. I mean, let's think about what life was like before social media when I was your age. I hate saying that because it made me feel old, but you know, how did we look for a job back in the day? You'd open up a newspaper and you'd go through the want ads, circle the want ad, and then you'd be like, you know, send out a resume, paper resume. What could you do before social media to write something that everybody would see? Well, you'd have to pay to be in the newspaper, or to talk about things that people want to hear. Well, you'd have to pay to be on the radio or pay to be on TV. Today, you literally can go on TikTok and talk about whatever you want. A million people can see it. LinkedIn is a place for you to talk about where you want to go in your career, to meet people, to socialize, to have a voice. If you don't use it, you're just doing yourself a disservice. And I understand that the platform is intimidating. I get it. It's a little bit scary. But the more that you use it, the more you feel comfortable with it. The more you use it, the more you feel comfortable with it. Now let's go into the step 3, what I was talking about real quickly, which is growing your network, right? Now, this alumni tab, you can find this on your mobile device. You just search for CSUN. If you all are transfer students and you came from a community college, all of the community colleges are on here as well, okay? So easy to find these people. Click or tap on the alumni tab. And here you'll see that there are 210,000 people that have gone to CSUN. So what I would love to know is anybody drop in the chat a company you would love to work for. Not one of these top ones, because these are easy. They're already here. But I want to find a company that's not on this list. So somebody drop in the chat or shout out a company you'd love to work for. Let's see if we can find an alumni that goes Blizzard. Ooh, that's a good one. Let's go to Blizzard. Boom. And we have 25 people that work at Blizzard. And then you can go over here and go, you know what I really want to do is I really want to be in IT, or I want to be in marketing, right? Let's say you want to be in marketing. Okay, let's click on marketing and let's see what they're doing down here. And you can go, boom, global research, bam. This person, maybe not, but this person, global research and consumer insights. Click on their name, right? And it pulls up another page. Click on their name, pulls up another page. Then you click on connect and you write a note. You write a little note to them, all right? And in that note, you want to say, I'm a current student. Why am I reaching out? I'm a current student. Notice you're working at Blizzard. It's my dream company. Do you have 5 minutes for an informational interview, please? That's it. What is the worst thing that can happen if you do a connection invite and you put in the connection request that you want them to be part of your network, or you want an informational interview? What's the worst thing that can happen, do you think? Just out of curiosity, what does anybody think? They just ignore it. It's exactly right. I don't even think they say no, Suzette. Like, who says no anymore? They just ghost you. Exactly, Remy. They ghost you. That's the worst thing that can happen. What's the best thing that can happen? They accept your connection request, you have a call, and you hit it off. That's the best thing that can happen. And that happens all the time, y'all. It happens all the time. Here's the Huntsman Corporation. Come down here, boom, boom, boom. Got 3 people that work at Huntsman, right? Valve, relatively, you all are like, throwing some, never even heard of these. Valve Corporation. Nope. But David, this is good curveball, right? Okay, so we don't have any CSUN alumni there. Let's go up here and let's go to Valve Corporation. Well, let's see why. We're going to go over here and we see that they don't have a ton of employees. They have about 1,200 employees. So it's not a huge corporation, which is cool, right? They're a gaming corporation. I love it. So we go to the people tab over here. And now we can see all the people that work there. And now you can go, you know what? I really want to connect because I want to be in art and design. Or, you know, you're like me, I'm in sales. So you want to be in sales, but I want to work for a cool company in sales. Boom. Then you're like, okay, I want to work with somebody in sales. They're in the US. Let's connect with them. Come down here. Boom, boom, boom. You can connect with them. All right. This is the power of LinkedIn. This only takes seconds. I recommend 5 of these a day. You're going to kill it. 5 of these a day, you're going to grow your network really quickly. If you could do 1 or 2 informational interviews a week, you never know when you're going to hit it off with that person giving you their time. And let me just tell you, a lot of people will give you time. All of this literally is at your fingertips, literally in the palm of your hand, y'all. It's on your phone, okay? Literally in the palm of your hand. This is a gold mine. Here's another thing, right? So if you actually really want to know more about this company, click on the follow button. When you click on the follow button, you can turn on post notifications. When you turn on post notifications, every single time they do a post, you see about it. Guess what? Go over here and go to, where did it go here? What happened? Go to here, posts. Boom. Right? Now, okay, this company is not doing a lot on LinkedIn, which kind of sucks. So this is not a good example. I'm going to unfollow you because you're not even doing anything worth follow anyway. But most companies are posting content on LinkedIn. Most companies are posting content on LinkedIn. So if we go over here to, let's say, Blizzard, right? We can go over here to Blizzard. We can check out their posts. We can follow them. We can go over here to their posts. And we can see, yeah, they're posting content 2 hours ago. They only had 18 comments. I bet you there are no students commenting on that. None. You know what I'm saying? That's the deal. Being able to actually engage with the feed, it's free. This is not part of premium. And so instead of scrolling through TikTok, which don't get me wrong, I love TikTok, but maybe spend a little bit less time on social, like that social, and spend 5 or 10 minutes a day on this. That's it. What is the top thing you recommend asking these connections? Oh, Misha, that's a really good question. I mean, here's what I think. You want to ask questions you think are going to help you get where you want to go in your career, and that they're going to be able to provide insight on, right? That's what I think. What is life like at the organization? You know, how hard is the interview process, right? Do you remember the interview process? Things like that. What I would do, and again, you have great resources, career services. I'm sure career services for professional folks here can help you coming up with really good informational interview questions. That's it. You just want to ask questions to get the ball rolling. Because at the end of the day, in my opinion, the best thing about an informational interview is just getting to know somebody, and you never know when you're going to hit it off. We know it doesn't take very long to vibe with somebody. You know very quickly if that person's going to be cool or they're going to not be cool, right? We know that. And so when you get on an informational interview, you may just like, this person's not vibing. I'm not vibing with them. And then you end the call, you're good. The next one might be hit it off. You end the call with like, you know what, this has been great. Do you mind if we do this again next month? And they're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Now you have a mentor. That's what I'm talking about. A question about a hiatus from employment. We actually have that on LinkedIn now. I think you should revamp your profile. Yes, you don't need to recreate a new one. Do not recreate a new profile. Oh, sweet, Genesis. Thank you. By the way, Genesis just said that they do help create informational interview questions. Yay. All right, y'all. I'm going to do this real quick because Zoe asked this question. So let's go to your profile section. Within your profile section, add profile, we have add career break. We did this because there are a lot of, especially women, who take a break to be a mother and then come back, right? This is important. And so put that you did a career break, what you were doing that break, and be proud of it. It is all good. It is all good. So that's what I would do if I were you. Great question. Okay. Before I forget, let me just do this, copy and paste. All right. Y'all are more than welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to connect with all of you. All right. So we talked about growing your network that way. I want to tell you a story that is really important. So this is Ariana. I met Ariana when she was going to San Diego State. She's a San Diego State student. San Diego State? Yeah, San Diego State. And so she was going to San Diego State. And she wanted to get this job at Super Purposes. I want you to know that I met a lot of students through these workshops, right? And what is really cool is that some of them, come back to me and we talk a little more, we get to know one another a little bit more. And then, we talked a little bit about how we create this profile and what you talk about, right? So in her profile, she talked about being a first-gen student. She wrote some content about being a first-gen student and about period poverty, which I'd never even heard of. She's proud of all of that, right? So remember, when you create this LinkedIn profile and you talk more than just about your jobs, you're actually a real person with real heart and emotion and soul. When you do these connection requests and you reach out to people, what's the first thing they're going to do before they accept your connection request? They're going to look at your profile. So the more authentic you are, the more likely they're going to say yes. And so what Ariana did is she went one step further. She applied for this job at Super Purposes. Now, this is a small tech company with only 170 employees. It's a small startup. So what she did is she went to the People tab and she typed in CEO. She shot her shot with the CEO. Now, this shows 3 employees, but it searches for all these letters. There's only one CEO, which is right here, okay? She reached out to the CEO. She did a connection request and a message in the connection request. And in the message, she said, "Hi, my name is Ariana. I'm a current student. I just applied for your internship and I would love an opportunity to interview." And the CEO looked at her profile, accepted her connection request, and then said, "No student has ever done that before. Be ready for an interview on Monday." She got the interview on Monday, got the job on the spot. I'm telling y'all, any one of you can do this. Any one of you can put yourself out there. See what I'm saying? Any one of you. Going back to the career break was from 2019 to present. Is that bad? No, not at all. Not bad at all. You took some time for yourself. Not bad at all. You're all good. Okay. Yeah. Does writing the about section in third person point of view help? No. That doesn't. No. It's terrible. It's not. No, that's old school. First person, because first person is authentic. You don't want to write in third person. I'm just telling you right now. That's my opinion. Don't do that. Good question though. Okay. So we talked about growing our network. We're kind of running out of time here and I want to cover content here. Posting content is really important. And what posting content allows you to do, it allows you to actually start gaining a little bit of traction, followers, being able to be a thought leader and have your own voice. So what you do is just click on start a post here. We actually have ChatGPT in here now, so it can help you draft a post. So you can do a prompt with ChatGPT, say what you're trying to accomplish. And then you can also add media. So you can add a video if you want to. You can add a picture. By the way, if you're writing about, let's say, an internship or something like that, and you want to add a picture, you can do that. Adding a picture, just a selfie, is gonna increase the number of people see it by 5 times. So 5 times as many people see it. All right. So that's what you want to do when you're posting content. Really, really pretty simple. You also want to add you can add documents here. So if you wanted to add your resume, you could do that as well. You get very creative with your posts. I want you to think about things that you want people to know about you, where you're going, what you're doing. But I would also start with just liking content and maybe resharing content. When you reshare this post, right, you can repost this with your thoughts. Here's why I want to repost this, right? You can do all of that. So I want you to just think about, first and foremost, just going into the LinkedIn feed and checking it out, okay? Now, discard draft. And by the way, any of you can connect with me. You can all just DM me anytime. I'm happy to help if you want to DM me, okay? Last thing I want to talk about real quickly is LinkedIn Learning. All right, so you all have access to LinkedIn Learning. This is an online platform. It's online video tutorials designed to do one thing, and that is to help you get a job. They're not designed to replace your degree. They never will be. They're designed to help you get the skills you need to get the job you want. That's it. You're going to be coming up for an interview. What are the top 10 interview questions? How do I answer them? Yes. We got that, right? You want to be in sales. Here are things to learn about sales. You want to be in marketing. We can help you get in marketing. Literally, we have career pathing in here. So you want to be an accountant. You click on here. We're going to take you through all the courses that are going to help you become an accountant, the skills that are going to become an accountant, right? So in addition to what you're doing on campus, which again, you need your degree, you're getting skills that are tactical skills, that are skills that are directly going to help you get that job. And oh, by the way, you're differentiating yourself from the next person that maybe has the same degree. LinkedIn Learning is free for you, Noemi, because CSUN pays for it for you. You get access to it for free. Yeah. In fact, I think we can just do this LinkedIn Learning CSUN. Boom. Boom. Right here. Boom. See? Just there you go. It's free, y'all. LinkedIn Learning, free. Normally, if you have to pay for it, it's $300 a year, but you get it for free. And here's why that's important. And I work with your campus often. It's because the fact of the matter is there's no way a college or university, I don't care what college is, I don't care if it's a private college with all the money in the world, there's no way they can keep up with the pace of change. It's impossible. AI has only been around for like 4 months, 5 months. There's no way. And there's no way they can train you for every single skill that you need. That's not their job. What you're learning is so much more than just, I need this skill to get this job. That's why LinkedIn Learning combined with your degree is so powerful, because you get this wealth of knowledge from your degree, right? There's so much more to when you're going to school and what you're learning, what you're doing. And then you can go on LinkedIn and be like, I want this job, and this job says I need to have this skill, and I'm going to go to LinkedIn Learning and learn that skill and put it on my profile, so that when they look at my profile, they see not only do I have this great degree from CSUN, but I've gone above and beyond, and I've taken these learning courses. And I have students, many students, that have been able to get jobs because LinkedIn Learning has helped differentiate them. That's it. Yeah. Yes, I will repost my thank you, Zoe, because I did it before. So if you came in a little bit late, I'll repost my link in the chat here, y'all. There you go. I'm the only Ryan Zervaco, so it's super easy to find me on LinkedIn. I could talk for hours. I don't want to talk for hours because I don't want to bore you to tears. But that's pretty much so it. Do you all have any questions for me before we wrap up? I want to save some time for questions if you all have any.
I will. Hi, Ryan. It's Genesis. I'll help moderate the questions for you as they come in.
Okay. If we have any questions. I struggle coming up with what posts. Misha, this is the question, right? First of all, we do have the ChatGPT now. So you might want to just maybe chat with ChatGPT. But here's the way I think about it. Like, what do you like? Like, what are things that you know that you think may help other people? What are experiences that you've had that you think may help other people? I think it's cool if you get an internship to talk about that. But I also think, you don't want to humble brag either. So maybe, how did you get that internship? Like, how many applications did you have to do to get that internship, right? So kind of keep it real. What are you learning in class? What did you read in class today, right? If you meet with career services and they give you, like, you need to do this, and this, and this, and it works, go on LinkedIn and be like, hey, I learned this from career services, and these are things you need to do, right? That's all it is. So I would just try to think outside the box, but what can you do to help others? What kind of expertise do you have? And by the way, we all have expertise. Your generation has expertise, right? Maybe it's not as much as me in sales because I'm twice as old as you, but you still have expertise. That's what I would do. Yeah. A post should kind of be like a discussion with the community. Yeah. And the other thing is, I think the more that you're on LinkedIn, the more that you'll see what people are posting, and you can kind of understand and go from there. Really, at the end of the day, I want you to think of it as a way for you to have a voice. I mean, hell, I think every student should do this, but no student has ever done it. I think you should record a 1-minute video about who you are, where you're going to school, what your story is. And if you don't have the job that you want, ask for help. you know, that could blow up. You could have 10,000, 100,000 people see that video. It only takes one to reach out and go, Misha, I want to help you. It only takes one. Nobody takes advantage of that. And I get it because it's a little nerve wracking. You're on LinkedIn and it's like all these people are looking at you. But I want you to know a couple of things here. Remember, I said that LinkedIn eliminates fake profiles, which means that people are more, because it's not an anonymous, you're not going to get the same amount of hate. It's just period. You're just not. And we don't have as many people, and you don't have fake profiles. And by the way, you can only do 3 DMs per month, period. Not 3 DMs to each individual person. I mean 3 per period. So you can feel more free to be yourself on LinkedIn. Yeah. Trini, do I have any specific advice for career transitions? This is where, look, I keep saying career services. This is what career services do. These folks on this call, they can help you. Like, how do you frame a career transition, right? A lot of us do career transitions. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I want you to do is I want you to work with somebody to frame that so that when you post it on LinkedIn, it comes across in the best possible way. That's what I would do. I would be proud of the career transition, but I would talk about it in a way that makes it sound amazing. Okay. Zoe, why don't you message me with regard to your LinkedIn? I'll be happy to take a look at that personally. I normally have a little bit more time, but I got to head out for a flight back to Southern California today. Any other questions? I don't have premium to message you. Oh, Zoe, when you connect with me, you can message me to your heart's content. See, that's why you want to connect. That's why you want to connect. Yeah. All right. Anything else, y'all? Did I miss anything, Genesis?
I think you did a phenomenal job. I'm hoping that you come back to us in the spring for next internship week, which will occur next spring. So I hope to reconnect with you then.
Sure. As long as I have the bandwidth, I really enjoy doing these things. So thank you all very much. I really appreciate it. Like I said, connect with me. And you know, the one piece of advice I have for you all is, like, if I could go back in time, I would reach out for help more often. I was very insecure. I was very scared. LinkedIn didn't even exist, but even if it had, I would have been like, nobody wants to hear from me. Let me just tell you, people will help. I'm just telling you right now, people will help. I've been at LinkedIn for 8 years. I can count on one hand, literally one hand. Well, maybe actually now there have been about 6 in 8 years of the number of students that have just cold outreach to me. I'm not talking about you all. I've told you to reach out to me. That's different. I'm talking about people I've never even met. It doesn't happen very often. It never happens. So when you do an outreach to somebody, I guarantee you, as a student especially, the probability of them not responding to you because they don't want to help you it's more they didn't see your message. That's why most people don't reach out. And if they don't reach out to you, who cares? But you never know. You never know when that outreach is going to change your life. And I am not being hyperbolic. There was a student who wanted to be in sports marketing, and he used LinkedIn to outreach to a former NFL football player who's in Orange County. He used to have a marketing company in Orange County. The football player invited him to his office and said, no student has ever reached out to me before. Do you want an internship? Just like that. Know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm just telling you, it's literally in the palm of your hands. So the beauty of what you've got going right now is that you have folks on this call that can literally help you as well. So I say, do reach out to career services. They're amazing at what they do. I'm a little bit biased because my daughter just graduated from UC and she worked for career services for 3 years. So, but listen, I heard her stories and you all do amazing work. So props to you at career services. Y'all are the best.
Thank you, Ryan.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I know that this has made a big difference in our students' lives. And I want to thank the students for coming to this session and to internship week and all the various sessions that we had. We did reschedule a session from yesterday. We had a NASA ARC session that was scheduled at 4 p.m. Yesterday, but unfortunately, the speaker was not able to make it. So we rescheduled it for next Tuesday at 4 p.m. We'll see that inside Handshake. And then we also have our big giant resume makeover event where we critique your resume. So sign up for that. It's also in Handshake. But again, a big round of applause for Ryan. I know you made a difference in our students' lives. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.